Heyo, welcome back to the Cole and Noah Are Friends podcast. I'm Cole.
And I'm Noah.
And we're friends.
And we are friends indeed.
For now. We'll see.
We'll see at the end of this episode.
Well,
Episodes 1 and 2. Ones and twos. Episode 1 and 2 are live.
They are. They're
you can
actually
listen to them.
You can listen to them anywhere you get podcasts, as long as you only get podcasts through Spotify, Apple Podcasts. Overcast is on there.
Oh.
And there's a couple other ones that, like, when you connect it to Apple, it goes straight to like 4 other places.
Interesting.
I tried to put it on Pandora, but Pandora's like, we might accept this in 4 weeks. And I was like, that's fine. No one uses this anymore.
Yeah,
I don't care.
Pandora, you don't have any space to be selective right now.
Right?
Okay. Nobody has used your platform in 10 years.
Seriously, I can't believe it.
If somebody came to me and was like, yeah, I strictly use Pandora right now, I don't know that I'd continue being their friend.
I can't handle you. You're too much. Pandora is like MySpace. Like, when I hear it, I'm like, oh, yeah. Wait, it's not dead? It's still
I messaged my wife on MySpace.
You
initially.
did?
That's where I asked her to go to the movies with me.
No way.
Lo, those many years ago, to quote Pastor Dave.
Lo, those many years ago. When was that? When did you ask her out?
I started messaging her in March of 2009.
Whoa.
And then I asked her to the movies sometime before May 1st, 2009. And then we went to the movies May 1st, 2009, started dating.
What?
I asked her to be my girlfriend.
High school?
Uh-huh. Actually, it was my freshman year. She was just finishing up her 8th grade year.
What? Well,
I was a freshman.
Sure.
I was in 9th grade.
Yeah.
I wasn't like a senior.
I understand.
Still, it sounds weird when you say 9th and 8th
weird.
grade. But
that's fine.
Anyways.
That's fine.
Yes, we've been together for 13 years.
That's amazing.
Married for what will be 8 this year.
I feel like I should have known this. I feel like I did not know that you guys
You probably knew that we've been together for a while, but until you hear like the time, it really puts into perspective.
Yeah.
Like,
well, even just that you guys knew each other in high school. Like,
yeah.
That is awesome. What movie did you see? Spill the beans.
Obsessed, starring Beyonce and some other people. It's not a good movie. I would not recommend it, but awesome. It's out there.
That's cool.
And then like the following week, for like a month, we just went to movies on Friday nights because no cars.
Yep.
And so we saw a bunch of stinkers. We saw Obsessed. We saw the movie Fighting with Channing Tatum. So bad.
Uh-huh.
We saw Terminator Salvation. So bad.
Uh-huh.
We saw, what else did we see? We've seen a bunch of really bad movies. Those are the ones that I can remember distinctly. I don't remember the other ones, but those ones all pretty much sucked.
Yep. Yep.
Week to week, just $12 down the drain.
That's a good sign. If you can throw money away on bad movies for a date and keep going back, it tells you she's not there for the movie.
Exactly. So. And neither was I.
And
then we stopped going. Well, I mean, we still go to movies, obviously, occasionally. Not really. We haven't seen a movie. What was the last movie I saw with my wife? Shang-Chi, maybe?
Shang-Chi. You guys didn't see, not Stranger Things, Doctor Strange? Stranger Doctors?
No, she's not. That's the follow-up. That's the next one. Doctor Strange 4 is Doctor Strange 4, Stranger Doctors.
Stranger Doctors.
No, she doesn't get into all the Marvel movies. It's just like the important ones, or like Spider-Man.
Yeah.
Basically.
The important ones.
Yeah. She loves like the Avengers, or not really even the Avengers. I think she started the Marvel Universe at Infinity War.
No,
she didn't even see Infinity War. I got home from seeing Infinity War and she said, "Who dies?" And I said, "I'm not going to tell you." And she started looking it up and I was like, "Okay, I'll tell you."
God.
And then she saw Endgame. And then the Spider-Man one. She's seen the Spider-Man movies.
When we went and saw Infinity War, and the next day, I think, or shortly after, we took my brothers-in-law, Caleb and Christian, and we're walking up to the theater, and Caleb goes, "All right, I know at least one person dies."
Yeah.
And I was trying so hard not to
yeah, you're that's a good guess.
I just looked at him and I was like, I can't say anything. But I was so excited for him to watch Loki die in the first 5
Internally,
minutes.
you were shedding tears.
Oh, yeah.
You're like, yeah, and Spider-Man, he dies too.
Spider-Man dies.
And Bucky, terrible. He's not there anymore. So many people are gone.
I love that. Infinity War is one of my favorites. I think it's better than Endgame, personally.
I think I am a sucker for fan service. So there were so many fan service moments in Endgame that I just like, it overtook it for me.
Yeah.
Like seeing Cap wield Mjolnir. Yeah, whatever.
Mjolnir.
The hammer.
The hammer.
Seeing him hold that, I was
Where's
like,
Meow?
that's insane.
Yeah, that was dope.
That whole fight there when he goes, Avengers assemble, and it's everyone. I was like,
Yeah.
the only thing that would have made this better if the X-Men were in there. But
Oh, man.
what are you going to do? You know? And like all of those things, the final, obviously the cheesy I am Iron Man moment, like that had to happen.
Yep.
It just was like the perfect storm of like a really well done movie,
Yep.
but like fan service.
Yep.
So it's like the reason I liked Rise of Skywalker. Like, not a great movie,
Right.
but also like a ton of fan service. Basically, just J.J. Abrams like, hey, sorry for that last one. And like,
Sorry.
so there's certain things
that.
when fan service is done well, and
Yeah.
that I really enjoy. And Endgame was one of those.
Fan service is tricky. I find myself being very picky about the fan service because I enjoy the story so much that I
Yeah, that's
hate
true.
it when it's fan service
It's like shoehorned in.
plus bad story.
Mm.
Yeah, I don't care at that point. I'm like, I'm a fan because of the story.
That's true.
So don't
That's
give
true.
me, like, fan service for me is good story. Don't give me bad story. Give me a good story.
Speaking of good stories, in a shocking turn of events, I chose to start watching Kenobi
Hey-o.
because I've seen a bunch of
Let's go.
just pictures online. I saw pictures of the finale of like a scene between Vader and Obi-Wan that immediately captivated me, and I was like, ooh, okay, that I'm intrigued. And I started watching it yesterday, and I got through episodes 1 and 2, and then I started 3 and I fell asleep. But that's just because I'm old and I'm tired.
I'm old
And so
and I'm tired.
started it too late. But episodes 1 and 2, ones and 2s, goodness gracious. Episode 1 and episode 2 are great. They're both very good. I didn't watch all the other stuff, as I mentioned previously, but the figuring out why he goes by Ben Kenobi.
Yeah.
I always wondered that in the other movies. It's like, how'd they get Ben from Obi-Wan? Is that just like, is Obi-Wan like the name you're given when you go to the Jedi Academy? They're like, and you will be Obi-Wan, Ben. And I was like,
Ben.
Is it like a Saul Paul moment?
Right.
And so figuring out why he goes by Ben was cool. Seeing him just like live
Yep.
basically in those first 2 episodes is pretty cool.
To not be a Jedi anymore.
Yeah, it's just weird. He like works at a meat thing.
A plant? Question mark?
A meat line.
A meatery?
Yeah, a meter. Yeah, it's just fascinating to see that. And then obviously the end of episode 2 going into, oh, you don't know.
Right.
Anakin Skywalker is alive.
So great. Okay, at this point, spoilers. Like, spoilers. The end.
Yep.
That was so cool for them to do that. I was like, oh, I never even thought about him not knowing.
Yeah, has he
Because
heard like
why
tale of this
would he
Lord
know?
Vader, or like what's he heard about him? What's he know about this Darth Vader? Does he know who it is? Like, where did he come from? Does he know anything about that?
Right.
And then for Reva,
I think.
I don't know, the third sister.
The third sister.
For her to be like, oh, you don't know, Anakin Skywalker is alive in that moment of just like zooming in on Obi-Wan's face is like an intense moment that I don't think I've earned not knowing a ton about it, but seeing it, I was like, ooh, okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. I'm curious. What's the thing that you saw between, like, with the finale that intrigued you?
I love like emotional moments. And so one, I've heard about all the fan service or like all just the goodness poured into the finale of Obi-Wan. And so that intrigued me. But then I've been seeing pictures of basically like, I love a good destroyed mask moment. I love things like that. And so there's a bit that's shown where it's showing red and blue on Darth Vader's face, where part of his mask is destroyed, and him and Obi-Wan are having a conversation. And he's like, I'm sorry. Like, basically, you just see Obi-Wan crying, and I think I read something like, I apologize for something. I can't remember. But seeing that picture, I was like, okay, I've got to at least see what this is about.
Yeah,
because I loved those characters in the prequels when I saw them when I was younger. As I mentioned last time, action figures. And so seeing that, I was like, this is really cool. And like I said, I love emotional moments, and I love anytime there's a moment where somebody's mask gets like partially destroyed. Yeah. Like you think of like in the Spider-Man video game on PlayStation, like he gets a ripped up suit. You think of Spider-Man OG, like Tobey Maguire Spider-Man movie when he's fighting Goblin. His suit's all destroyed.
Yeah.
Think of moments where just pieces of suits get destroyed, and I love like battle-worn things because for whatever reason it just like really drives home like the weight of that moment, I feel like.
Yeah.
Because it's like the secret part of them.
It's like vulnerability.
Yeah,
They're
and like
vulnerable now.
spoilers for Spider-Man 2018, the video game, but like the final fight with Doc Ock.
I'm sorry. How old is this game?
2018.
Spider-Man 2018.
Yeah, I just
They're
say
not
spoilers.
anymore.
I know. But this way,
spoilers
if you
for the
it's literally
Princess
all over
Bride.
YouTube.
He is the pirate guy.
Spoilers for Nosferatu, which came out in 1930. No, but at the end of the game when Doc Ock and Spider-Man are fighting, and like that's when he realizes he's Peter. Or no, I think he knows he's Peter before that. But part of his mask is coming off.
Oh yeah.
And then at the very end, for him to take his mask off and like have that big moment with Doc Ock when Doc Ock is like his little arms are gone and he's laying on a table like, come back here, Peter.
Yeah.
You can't leave me. Peter. And then he leaves.
Peter. That moment was super cool because, like I said, story matters a ton to me. I don't like when I can predict what's going to happen, which is why I didn't like Endgame as much as Infinity War. Infinity War,
you knew.
I was not prepared for everyone to die. I was like, oh my gosh, they did it.
That's
it's
true.
why.
And then for it to end.
For it to end right there, I was like,
how could you do this?
Right. So with Spider-Man, with that video game, I was like, you can only hear the Spider-Man story so many times and only have so many, the bad guy finds out it's Peter Parker at the end moments before you're like, that's what's going to happen, right? But for them to do that and then be like, hey, just kidding, Octavius knew it was Peter the whole time and still was a total D-bag to him and beat him up with the other Sinister Six. And Peter figures that out as you are figuring that out. And then he's like, his face is just like, dude, it's on now. I was
the final moment, the final moment where he finally has the serum and he's going to go save Aunt May, but he realizes like, I can save Aunt May or I can save the whole city with this serum. And Aunt May is like, you can't save me.
Yeah.
Like you know what you have to do. And like that emotional moment of him holding the serum, looking at Aunt May and like both, it's like video games, but I watch it and I remember distinctly crying at that moment. I watch it and I was like, wow.
Yeah.
This moment was like earned through the course of a video game. And the fact that I'm feeling this for video game Aunt May is wild because Peter knows what he has to do. And he like has to say goodbye.
Yeah.
And I was like, man.
That's what makes Peter Parker's character so like to me, and I'm not an expert, I don't know all the things about all the comics and all the characters, but like,
you know, he owns an empire, you know, he's a skateboarder.
Yeah, his skateboard empire, Spider-Man owns all the Monopoly pieces.
He owns all the boardwalks.
This is my city, you only skate when I say you skate. No, but as like a character, Peter Parker represents character. Like he represents good character. He's the embodiment. There we go. Of being above everything that happens to you. And I remember when I that clicked for me because I was reading. And this is the reason I love the new Spider-Man movie, the
No Way Home.
No Way Home, because they show it there perfectly, like so good. We've never really gotten to see it as big as this one does. But I read the Ultimate Spider-Man comics when I was in high school, and I never finished them because it cost like $20 to buy the color comic from Borders. And I got into college and a friend showed me how to like rip them off of something online. So I like downloaded all of them. I'm reading them on my laptop. And there's one where they get into the clone saga where like now there's a bunch of clone Peters and Peter has to try and go like stop all these clone Spider-Men. And Nick Fury shows up and he's got a bunch of like robots specifically designed to kill Spider-Man. But he's got like an army of them. And he's like, what the heck, Nick Fury? Like, you didn't just come up with this yesterday. Why do you have an armada of Peter Parker killing robots? What's wrong with you? And he says, the thing about you, Peter, is like, you're dangerous because of everything that's happened to you. You should be a bad guy, but you're not. And that's terrifying. And I was like, oh, holy cow. And that's it. It's Peter Parker and his with great power comes great responsibility is like not just the line that gets said to him. It's actually his code of ethics. Yeah. It's like crap happens and he decides I will be above it. I will pull my punches. I won't murder people. Like I am not just a good guy, not just a superhero. Like, he represents a deep, compelling character of a person.
And
it's
this,
so
No Way
awesome.
Home showed that new side of Peter, because everything else is just like, oh, young, plucky Peter Parker. But this one, he went through massive tragedy.
Yes.
Not once, but like twice.
Yes.
And then a third time after, majorly. But then he wasn't going to pull his punches. And then Peter, too. was like,
Peter there?
was like stopping him, and he was like, no. He's like, I've been down this road. And then for him to see that and then be like, oh, okay.
Yeah.
It's such a cool. It's funny you say all that about Peter Parker and Spider-Man, and there's this quote from Batman that I posted it.
There's this quote from Batman.
Yeah. It's a real person. There's a
the
quote.
Man, the Bat?
I forget. It was like Superhero Day or something, and there's a quote where it was like, in the comics, Batman was talking about Superman, and it's exactly this. It's, if Clark wanted to, he could use his super speed and squish me into the cement. But I know how he thinks. Even more than the kryptonite, he's got one big weakness. Deep down, Clark's essentially a good person, and deep down, I'm not. So in the battle versus Batman versus Superman, Batman's like, yo, like, he won't ever do anything, because he's a good person, and I'm not. Like that. You say, like, Peter Parker, deep down, he's a good person. It just reminded me of that.
Yeah, totally.
Like
that
quote.
That kind of limitation, that like limits based off of your inner character, which you see sometimes in comics and movies where the bad guys, like with Joker and Batman in Dark Knight, and he's like, I'm just trying to break Batman. You know, like all I want to do is make him break his rules. You know, and it's terrifying because you're like, that guy has no rules. He's the Joker. He just he wants to see the world burn, right? From a like faith perspective, I think about that, about God a lot, because I can't remember who said it, where I read it. But the idea was introduced to me that, like, we like to say that God is limitless, right? But actually, and this is the idea somebody prompted, I can't quote them, I can't remember who it is, and it's driving me nuts. But the idea basically being, God is not limitless. He has limited himself to, like, his character. There's like things like when First John talks about God is all light and no darkness, so if we say we are in fellowship with him but we're walking in the darkness, we're clearly lying, because there's two different places, right? It's the idea that God is, like, if God is actually good, then though he is all powerful, there's only certain ways that he will operate because of his character, because of who he is. Like, he has, in a way, limitations, but it's not because he's not able to do things. It's because he won't do things. His weakness is that deep down he's a good person, like Superman. I don't know, but it just it messes with my mind a little bit, because you just kind of get taught growing up if you grow up as a Christian, like, God is, he can do everything and anything and everything, and then you get to the idea of like, oh, wait a second, no, hang on, he limits himself to, like, his character and who he is actually gives us a picture of, like, what he'll do, what he has done. And that's different than just having a being that exists and is super powerful and does whatever they want. And just like that, Cole jumped from Spider-Man to Jesus.
What is it? It's like the 3 degrees of Kevin Bacon or whatever, the game where you try to
7
go
7 degrees.
Yeah, where you go from an actor and try and get them back to Kevin Bacon, like their Wikipedia page or IMDb page.
You ever play the Hitler game?
Secret Hitler?
No, not Secret Hitler.
Is the Hitler game?
When I was in high school, we'd play a Wikipedia game where everybody would start on the same agreed upon Wikipedia page, any Wikipedia page, right? You could start on, like, I don't know,
Antarctica,
like, sure. And the game was, using only hyperlinks, make your way to the Hitler page on Wikipedia. Whoever could get there the fastest wins. And I got really good at it.
I got really good at it.
Really good at it.
I've seen, not necessarily with Hitler, but they pick a page that you have to get to, and you have to use it in either the fewest hyperlinks or, like, the shortest amount of time.
Yep.
And it's such an interesting.
Yep.
We should have done that for a camp video.
We did that one time. Maybe it was it might have been a high school retreat or a middle school retreat. Me and the guys in the cabin, they were like, not going to sleep yet, and they all had their phones, and I was like, hey,
of course,
you guys want to play the Hitler game? And they looked at me like the way you just looked at me. They're like,
I know. And I know the kids that you had, and so I know all of them were like, I'm immediately intrigued. This sounds like it could be offensive. I'm intrigued.
You said Hitler? Tell me more.
Yes, I'm intrigued.
I'm very intrigued.
And you're like, it's nothing like what you guys think. And they're like, oh, okay, we're going to bed. No, I'm just kidding.
No, they were really into it. It was kind of fun to watch. I get such a kick out of taking old like games and stuff I used to play, or my youth pastors would have me do, or we did in school or whatever, and just handing it to youth students now and watching them love it.
See, that's how I feel about passing on things. So when I get even with people, if they prank me or something, I don't like to get even in a way that's like conventional prank. I like to get even by inconveniencing somebody.
You told me. Did we do this on another episode? I can't remember. But you were telling me about this. I thought it was hilarious.
Well, I just think it's funny. Like Stephen Voss always gets name dropped. Hello, Stephen.
Hashtag where is Stephen Voss?
Hashtag where? He's upstairs with DJ, I think.
Is he
real?
Who's this guy?
So he said he's going to change his motorcycle. He said he's going to change his motorcycle's oil in my front yard and kill my grass and stuff. And I said, Steven, if you do that, I will take off all of the tires on your car and I will put them in your car and then I'll lock your keys in your car. And he's like, why would you do that? I was like, because it's a massive inconvenience. Or like something that I think would be very funny is like take a popsicle, melt it, and then let it get all over someone's steering wheel.
Yeah.
And then just leave it and let it get sticky. And then they get in their car, they start their car, they go to drive, and they touch their steering wheel and it's sticky. Because nothing makes me angrier than stickiness. Like, I can deal with like a little bit of clutter, things like that. But if there's like food mess or crumbs or stickiness, especially, I get like angry. And then I immediately will clean it. So if you ever want something cleaned by me, just make it sticky. And if I touch it, I will clean it immediately. Because if I don't, I will lose my mind. So like, I just love little inconveniences. I think they're very funny to me. Like, I just think inconveniences are funny.
I watched MythBusters one time did a, like, is it worse to be drunk or exhausted when you're driving? And the test they did was like, you had like, you know, a control test. They drove through a course with nothing. And then the next test is you're driving in a car and the car is just awful. And by awful, I mean it is full of terrible things like loud noises, horrible smells. The handle is covered in some gross, sticky whatever. Like there's just a bajillion distractions. And then there were things in the road that people would like jump out and do whatever. So they did that once drunk, and then they did that after not sleeping for 48 hours. And watching who was it? Who are the three people? Because it wasn't Adam and Jamie. It was the three other ones. It was like Tori, Grant, and... Did you watch MythBusters? No!
I watched some of it, but not like a ton.
Oh my gosh.
Look, dude, I needed cartoons.
You didn't watch MythBusters?
No, like I would watch pieces of it, but those guys just bothered me. At the time, I really hated that dude's mustache and the hats he wore.
You hated the mustache? No!
Yeah, and the hats. I just could not stand looking at him. As a kid, I was like, that's a terrible mustache. And then I was like, and I hate your hats. That honestly, I have such... I have what I like to call stupid brain, where even as a kid, I would pick things that I wouldn't like that people were like, why? We talked about this with Avatar.
Yeah.
I won't see it just because at this point. Because it outsold The Dark Knight when it came out, and that made me angry.
All right.
So now I'm holding a grudge for Batman.
Wow. I can't believe that. You're the first person I've talked to who's like having... I mean, it's not like I'm polling people going, hey, maybe that should be my next all-staff email. Who
has seen MythBusters more than one full episode?
Yeah. And who of you hate that mustache? Dude, I love that mustache. That mustache reminded me of my dad, but on like an even more eccentric person.
Yeah, it was it's a hardy mustache.
It is.
The thing is,
it's hardy, but it's not like perfectly kept. It's got like a weird bit of wildness to it.
That's true. Yeah.
And
then he always wore weird hats.
That weird hat, dude. I looked at him and I thought, you have things to hide. That's what
You are a dangerous man.
You're a dangerous man. I'm like, the show says you're a scientist, but when I look at you, I think that guy killed somebody.
At least one person.
At least one. Yeah. Oh man, that's crazy. I loved that show. That was like, right up there next to Even Stevens.
Ooh,
It was great.
Even Stevens, don't get me started.
Oh, man. I'm not just going to sit here and talk about MythBusters now. I'm going to let it go. I'm going to move along. I'm not. All I can see in my head right now is the cement truck exploding. You do need to look that up. Just YouTube the MythBusters cement truck dynamite.
Oh.
Because they are testing something with dynamite and a cement truck.
Interesting.
And there's a truck, and then there's the most gnarly, like, pinging, bazooing, exploding noise you've ever heard, and then it's just gone. There's, like, truck, and then gone.
No more truck.
No more truck. It's like it
Interesting.
disappeared. It's a magic. Poof, it's gone. It is so cool. And seeing that for the first time was like, what?
How did they do that?
There are a couple cool stories too where they like would test stuff and then like years later they've said, yeah, when we did that we made a couple mistakes and actually it was really dangerous. They launched a bowling ball out of a cannon one time and they didn't properly calculate like just how powerful that was going to be, and they shot it into a hill, but it like bounced and it shot way out of the testing range and crashed through somebody's roof. Like destroyed somebody's roof.
Yikes.
It's crazy.
So, Cole, do you want to hear my feelings on Batman?
Is it time? Are we getting the Batman episode? Is this it?
I mean, we can. We got a little time left.
We do got a little bit of time left.
So the way you talk about Star Wars is the way I talk about Batman. So let me preface with this, Cole. First off, what did you think of... I'll ask... Because I feel like I can defend most Batman mediums.
Okay.
So, like, for me, I could easily defend Ben Affleck's Batman.
Yes.
And I could give you a reason why I love this most recent Batman movie, The Batman, starring Robert Pattinson, as my favorite Batman of all time.
Okay.
Over Kevin Conroy, over Christian Bale, over Michael Keaton.
Sure.
Adam West.
Sure.
Yeah. You get it.
I do. I struggle with this a little bit because I am not anti-Batman. I'm just...
Same way you feel about Star Wars. Or I feel about Star Wars.
Yeah. And I love, like... I want to see Batman movies because they're superhero movies and Batman is cool. I never saw the old ones. Like, I have not seen any of the Batman movies prior to the Dark Knight trilogy. And I've, like, seen a handful of the cartoons. Like, Batman Beyond was so cool.
Yeah, that's great.
But otherwise, I never played any of the games, didn't play any of the Arkham games. They looked super cool.
Yeah,
but
the Arkham games are fantastic.
Whatever, But if you want my opinions on the new movie, like, I thought it was awesome. I thought it was so much fun. It was like
a great movie.
A super fun detective movie. I love the Christopher Nolan trilogy because I love Christopher Nolan. Like, that was a okay Batman, but those movies were great because they were written because the team that put it together.
They were great movies.
Phenomenal movies. Christopher Nolan is just amazing, and him plus Hans Zimmer is so great. They're such a great combo. I love everything they make. But this movie felt like such a Batman movie. I was like, I am not a huge Batman fan. I'm not the encyclopedia on Batman.
Yeah.
But this feels like, ooh. Yeah. You could have pulled him right out of a comic and put him in
I just love the tone of the movie, and I think everyone's biggest complaint was like, Batman feels too emo and he's too dark, and why is he so sad, and blah blah blah. Oh, and Batman gets beat up, and all this stuff. So the thing is this Batman was Batman 2 years into being Batman, and the key point about this Batman is who was it? I think Matt Reeves, the director, said he's basically still 12 to 14-year-old Bruce Wayne who just watched his parents get murdered. He's never grown up. Yeah. He's just stayed 12 to 14. So he doesn't really like being Bruce Wayne. He hates the thought that he's Bruce Wayne. That's why he does not go out. That's why when he went to the funeral, it's a big deal. Like, oh, Bruce Wayne's here. Yeah. Because he doesn't go out. He strictly goes out to hunt for, like, villains. The bad guys. Exactly. Currently, he just goes out
He craving some bad guys.
Exactly. Yeah, he's craving the hunter for bad guys. So he just goes out to do that. So he hates the thought of being Bruce Wayne. And that's why at the beginning of the movie, he's wearing sunglasses inside. He only goes outside late at night. And then when he's awake, which is basically just the evening, he calls himself a nocturnal animal. He, like, is hunting, and he stays out all night. So anything else that gets thrown into that schedule, he gets angry at it because he doesn't want to be Bruce Wayne. He doesn't want to have the responsibilities of being Bruce Wayne. He's only Batman.
Right.
And the way I put it is, why would he want to be the person who couldn't protect his parents when now he can be the person who could have protected his parents?
Yeah.
Why does he want to be Bruce Wayne, 12 to 14-year-old Bruce Wayne, when now he can be mid-20s, early 30s Batman who can defend and be a symbol of fear? He strictly is a symbol of fear and vengeance. He's not the point where he wants to be hope or anything like that. He doesn't want to be the hero that Gotham City deserves or needs, or whatever you're going to say. Yeah. So for me, this Batman, I just loved everything about it. I love the fact that he could still get beat up and he just was like a dirty fighter, and like he just was strictly in it to win a fight, like every single fight. And he like has this rage, but still he won't let himself go over that line. I love seeing that kind of develop where he, over the course of the movie, he's vengeance, and that's one of the first things you hear him say. And then at the end of the movie, when he's fighting someone, that person says, "I'm vengeance," and he realizes, like, crap. So I've really sown this for myself.
You can see him observing it in Catwoman, whatever her
Selena
character
Kyle.
name. Thank you. Yeah, Selena. And that was cool. I enjoyed that because you're right. He's the young Batman, and his code of ethics is still like being developed, and you're watching him watch his ethic in another person and going, I don't think I like that. Like, I see when you're doing it, I see the problems with it. When I'm doing it, I don't. I just see bad guys punch, you know? So like that was really neat that you're watching him develop that way. I love getting to see that happen. That was done so well. The parallels between his character and her character, and watching their just their ethics work out and how they handle the same situations, the same problems basically differently, and how it develops their character was so cool. I thought that was really, really well done.
And this movie for me has the best Batman entrance of all time. Like the first introduction to Batman, the best introduction of all time. It has the best Batmobile introduction of all time. Yeah. It's genuinely frightening at times when you see Batman. Like the very first thing when you think he's going to be at the guy who just robbed the store, the drophead who just robbed the store. And then when you think he's going to be at like the court area when those people are spray painting. And then when you think he's going to be at the train station, and all of these things when it's just like that, and like that massive rising music. Yeah. And like them just staring into the darkness, wondering if he's going to be there. I love that he is that symbol of fear, of like, he's everywhere.
You feel it.
Like
you
people
feel
think
their fear.
Yeah. And I love that. I also just loved Robert Pattinson's portrayal of just how emotive he had to be as Batman when you can literally only see his mouth. Right. And that's it. Yep. And little detail, I love the fact that he wore black eye paint, like war paint, as has Matt Reeves called it. Like, I love that because no other Batman does that. Yep. And it's just, it was just, it's so good. It's literally a Batman Arkham game in a movie, and it was so good. Yep. This Batman, hands down, the only Batman that I think not the only Batman. If I had to put live action Batman, not counting Val Kilmer and George Clooney, because absolutely not. Michael Keaton versus Christian Bale versus Ben Affleck versus Robert Pattinson. I think Ben Affleck destroys all four of them.
I was going to say the same thing.
Down, no doubt about it.
It's because he rolls tires. Yeah. He does CrossFit.
Yeah.
That's why.
He does CrossFit. Did you see him doing pull-ups while with a tire around his waist? He clearly has done CrossFit before. And then Michael Keaton, there's no way. He doesn't stand a chance against any of the other three. No doubt in my mind. Christian Bale, I think, only edges out Robert Pattinson sheerly based off experience. If you take them from the most recent time you saw them in the movie, I think sheerly off of experience, he beats Robert Pattinson. But I think Robert Pattinson has a really good chance just because of how unhinged he is, and he's still harboring his violence. So he's just honing his craft, but he's still much more violent than Christian Bale. Yep. And then Ben Affleck is a Batman at the end of his wits. Like, I mean, I guess if you count him at Justice League, but if you say Batman versus Superman, like, he has no problem killing the other guys because, which is a huge issue for everyone. They're like, Batman doesn't kill. I'm like, yeah, but this Batman's been Batman for 20 years and has seen a Robin die and a whole bunch of other people he loves die. And so now he's like, no, I'm just going to save the city at any cost.
And now there's a super alien.
Yeah. And now there's a guy who I don't know who he is, and he could kill him. Yeah. It's like the Nick Fury thing. He didn't know this person. He's like, there's no way this guy can be good. Right. So I'm just going to plan on killing him and getting the information to kill him. But I think Ben Affleck wins that fight hand over fist. He's the most violent and just physically imposing. He's the biggest Batman,
Yes.
both in terms of like physicality, like muscle, but also like height wise. He's like the biggest Batman.
Yep. Yeah.
And so he's the most scary physically Batman.
Yeah.
He's a thick Batman.
He's thick
Thick with
Batman.
2 C's.
2 C's. Yeah,
thick.
that movie, Batman versus Superman.
It's bad. It's not a good movie.
It's a bad movie. It's a terrible movie.
But Batman.
But
is
Batman.
So good.
Yeah.
Ben Affleck as Batman did not get a fair shake. That universe was pretty much doomed the second they were like, hey, let's call it Batman vs. Superman. And that's the sequel to Man of Steel. Huh?
Right.
And also, it's called Dawn of Justice. You want to know why? Because they're going to be the Justice League in the movie.
Yeah.
Also, Superman, he going to die.
Yep.
And it's like, wait.
Also, you know who you didn't ask for, who you're going to get? Abomination.
No, that's Doomsday.
Sorry.
But
I
basically.
referred to another bad villain that no one cares about.
Hey, he was in Shang-Chi.
He was, as a fan service, like, look at this villain.
And
we
he's
all
going to be in
forgot about.
She-Hulk, I think.
Is he going to be in
I think
She-Hulk?
so.
That would be interesting.
Yeah, he was surrounded by a bad movie. Ben Affleck got the short end of the stick with that because people were like, oh, Ben Affleck's going to be the worst Batman ever. And realistically, I think he was a great Batman, just surrounded by a terrible movie.
I agree. That's interesting. I feel very similarly about some of the Star Wars sequels, but we'll table that for later. But because I loved his Batman, and I loved the idea of him saying, like, hey, we just watched this alien destroy a city, fighting it out with some other aliens.
And it brings up the question of like the things you don't see in like the Avengers.
Yeah.
Like kind of how Spider-Man Homecoming does it. What happens to the lay people who like just watch a city get destroyed by Chitauri and the Avengers?
Yeah. Yeah.
Like, yeah, it's sick to see Hulk smashing Chitauri window to window, going boom, 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 boom,
Right.
smashing up all these windows of a building. But what happens to the people who work in that building?
Yeah.
Or like, what happens to the people who have to clean that up? Or what happens to New York in general?
Yeah.
And in the same way, like, what happens to the people in Metropolis who work for Wayne Enterprises there? What happened to the people who were in the city just watching all this unfold? What happens to those buildings afterwards? And Batman raising the question of like, are we just cool with this because he saved us? Like, yeah, he saved us for sure, but like, who's to say he won't just act like the other people he was fighting? They were one and the same. They're from the same place.
Yeah, that's actually really interesting because that's kind of there's a similar I don't want to say argument. What you're saying reminds me of Hitler. We're back. We're back to Hitler.
We got here.
We got
several hyperlinks later.
Yeah, it only took us a little while because I don't know a ton about like his reign politically, but the little bit that I like started learning about, I don't know, probably in high school or some long form documentary I watched on YouTube, but just realizing, oh, Germany was in like a really crappy place economically after World War I, and then this guy comes in and actually turned their economics around majorly. And that's a small part of the whole picture of the politics. But he had these things going that won him a lot of like just
the
faith.
people in Germany.
Yeah, people are like, this guy saved us.
Okay, we'll follow you anywhere at this point.
Right.
Yeah.
They needed a Ben Affleck Batman.
To be like, no, guys, hold on.
Mr. Hitler.
He has a lot of things that aren't good. That aren't good. Guys, wait, hold on. Hold on, guys.
Wait, guys, no, stop.
But anyways, yeah, Batman, similarly to you with Star Wars, I feel like I can watch any Batman movie and justify it for a little bit. I haven't seen Batman and Robin in a long time. I don't think I could justify anything in that because, oh my Lord, no.
Yeah.
I will say you should go back and watch Batman and Batman Returns, though. They are just like the most campy. They're so awesome.
Yeah.
They're so Tim Burton-y, like it's not even funny. And there's a scene. As a kid who loved toys.
Sure.
There's a scene in Batman
You
Returns.
love toys?
What? There's a scene where they're having this Christmas parade in Gotham Square. It's like what Gotham's like Rockefeller Center would be in like New York. Tree lighting ceremony. And the Penguin and all his goons come out from the sewer and they start tormenting everyone. And there's this guy in a devil costume and he's blowing fire into a toy store, lighting the toys on fire. Oh my gosh, it's Christmas. What are you doing? You're lighting a toy store on fire. You monster.
This literally
Batman
Satan
looks
is
at him in a
Christmas.
Batmobile. He looks at him, stares at him. The guy's like blowing fire at Batman's car, or the Batmobile. And he hits a switch, turns, a hydraulic lift comes out of the bottom of the Batmobile, turns, picks it up, spins it around, and then Batman flips the switch and hits a booster and pumps the gas and lights this devil guy on fire with the jet engine of the Batmobile. And he's just running around with this like pitchfork going, ah! And then Batman drives away and proceeds to hit two of Penguin's goons on a motorcycle. Dude, it's incredible. It is,
but he doesn't kill.
yeah, that devil guy's totally fine. Somebody put him out right after.
I may have third-degree burns,
dude.
but I'm still alive.
I'm telling you, it's so. And Jack Nicholson
That's
as the
funny.
Joker, Danny DeVito as the Penguin. Like,
yeah,
so good.
That's funny. You said something I just want to clarify. I cannot justify the sequels of Star Wars. I can't do it. Yeah, I can't.
I mean,
do
I
it.
can't justify Batman and Robin, like either, other than they made toys.
Sure,
But like, and Batman Forever is like, like whatever, it's fine.
yeah.
But no, Batman and Robin, I can't justify either. Like, truthfully,
Really?
yeah, like it's just bad.
Ah.
It's not good. There's a scene. Let me just put this into perspective for you.
Are we talking about a specific movie?
Yeah, it's called Batman and Robin.
Oh, okay. I thought you meant
it's-
just the duo, Batman and Robin.
Oh no, I love
Can't
Batman.
stand it.
You know, I love Batman and all the Robins. There's a bunch. No, so the way the movies went before, it was Batman 1989. Then in 92, it was Batman Returns, and then Batman Forever. I think it was like 95, and then in 97, 98, it was Batman and Robin. So Batman Forever was 95. Sorry, and
Yeah.
then Batman and Robin
Okay.
was when it went to George Clooney, and that's George Clooney's Batman.
Okay.
There is a scene in that movie where Batman and Robin are bidding on Poison Ivy. They're bidding on a woman.
I'm sorry.
So
what?
yes, because she, like, the thing with Poison Ivy is she allures men everywhere,
Yeah.
basically.
Yeah.
And so they're bidding on her for like a date or her love or something. And Robin's like, oh, this much, blah, blah, blah. And then Batman goes, $3 million. And Robin's like, oh, I don't have any more money. And then Batman goes, Bat MasterCard, never leave home without it. And it's an ad for a credit card.
No.
But it has the bat symbol on it. And so he goes, Bat card, never leave home without it.
No way.
He says the whole
It's
slogan.
shameless.
Oh, yeah, it's bad.
That's terrible.
It is bad.
Can
And
you
then there's
imagine? That
yeah.
cannot have aged well. There's a MasterCard ad for buying a woman?
Yep. There's a scene later where Poison Ivy kisses Robin, then he goes, fake lips. And he pulls off this like lip balm that covered his lips. And it's this fake lip skin. And he goes, fake lips. Dude, I'm telling you, those movies
Why?
Those movies were strictly made to sell toys. There's a scene where Arnold Schwarzenegger as Mr.
He's
Freeze.
in the movie?
He's Mr. Freeze.
No way.
And he's got a point where he's leading a chorus of people. He's doing the fast maestro, leading a chorus of people singing a song. And Bane is in the movie.
What?
And there's a scene where he is delivering bombs, like they're going to send bombs out.
Yeah.
And I'm not kidding. He goes over to a bomb and he goes, picks it up, puts it on a table. Bomb. Bomb. Bomb.
You're describing Batman on ice right now. That's what I'm listening
I'm telling
to.
you, everything I just described is real.
It can't be.
Yeah, yeah.
It's not possible.
Dude, it is so bad. There's nothing justifiable about it. I can't. Sorry. It's bad.
That's so funny. Oh my gosh. Did you watch Teen Titans as a kid?
I think I watched a little bit of the first go round and then I kind of got sick of it.
Darn.
Yeah.
That's my only, like, I'm sort of, like, Batman's cool.
Yeah, that was
And-
Batman adjacent because of Robin.
Yeah. That's my only, like, Robin is cool big thing in my life. Teen Titans was
I think
dope.
that was Tim Drake.
It was so cool.
Or no, was it Dick Grayson? I don't remember.
I don't remember. Which one of them gets brutally murdered
Jason
by the
Todd.
Joker? Jason Todd.
He's Robin number 2.
Robin number 3?
Yeah, there's Dick Grayson, Jason Todd, Tim Drake, then Damian Wayne, who is Bruce's son with Talia al Ghul. There's Carrie Kelly. There's Duke. I don't remember his last name,
Duke.
but he doesn't really become Robin. He becomes a different thing. And then I think there's a couple others, but a lot of them die at some point. Like Damian Wayne gets killed, he gets brought back from something. Jason Todd gets killed, he gets brought back, becomes Red Hood. Dick Grayson and some things. Apparently, Dick Grayson is the Robin that died in the Batman vs Superman universe.
Oh, really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yep.
That doesn't change anything.
No, not at all. Nothing at all. You just know who wore the suit now.
Got it. Oh,
That's
he's
it.
in that universe. So, cool. Well, on that note,
we can wrap this up.
yeah, this was good. This was fun. We finally got to your Batman episode. I feel like we're not done though.
Oh,
We'll
we can
probably do
talk
more.
more about Batman as well. Here's
You
one
could
of our
talk forever about
supporters, Cami
Batman.
Armsbury. She came in.
Yeah. Hi, Cami. We're about to
Cami,
wrap it
say
up.
hello to the people.
Would you ask us the very important question of whether or not we're still friends?
Wait, me and you guys or?
No.
No, me and Cole. The goal of this podcast is to find out if Cole and I are still friends.
At the end of every
The
episode.
question is Cole, how do you feel about Batman?
It's fine. It's good. But the new...
Then the answer is no. You're not
No,
still
we are
friends.
still friends.
No. Noah has a stipulation with his friends that you have to really just be all in for Batman, or else he's not all in for you.
Wow.
Wow.
Cami is also my campaign manager.
I'm kidding. That's his new slogan.
Yeah, I'm going to run for president.
Yes, enjoy this ad break. So, this podcast is sponsored by Noah running for president. He's going to take a nation by storm. The nation between your eyes. That'll be great.
Nation between your eyes.
So, Cole, the people are asking, are we still friends after this podcast?
Yeah. Well, I think so. How do you feel about... Yeah?
I think we're still friends.
Okay, great. Awesome.
10 out of 10 would recommend Cole.
Wow. Just don't bid on me and don't give me your fake lips.